Welcome back, second graders. I hope you had a just fantastic week drawing your art project and adding in all of the black lines. Today we are going to be doing the really fun part of adding color. So we're going to be finishing our panorama inspired backyard drawings. The supplies that you are going to need are a pencil, probably an eraser. These are the really fun erasers I got for Christmas. They are shaped like little eggs. And then you're going to need markers. So my suggestion to you is to collect all the markers that you have in your house and have them available to you. So I've got some Crayola. This Crayola, I'm missing the green, so I have to use a different green. These are some more Crayola ones. These are fun because they have two different tips, and if you look at it, they've actually got a couple different layers. So you could use something like that or have both of them out. These are some Dick Blick brand new markers I got at the art store at Christmas time. So I'm really excited to try these out. I just want you to know that you just grab whatever markers you have in your house, because as you can see, we want to have lots of bright colors available for us to paint. So let's get started. I'm going to leave this kind of up here so we'll be able to catch glimpses of it. So I have my two drawings because I had one that I wanted to show you, and then I had another one that I did with you. So I'm going to I'll put one to the side. For our drawing, if you notice in these, the sky is blue, but I have a bunch of different blues that are in the background. Same thing in here, you can even see it better. So I have, 3 or 4 different blues, and they color in different spots, kind of in natural areas. So you can see like the cloud blocked this off, so that made sense just to make it yellow for the light of the candle and how it's separated. When I look at this drawing, I've got a lot of open space. I'm going to put in a butterfly in mine, and I will, because I'm drawing a little something extra, I am going to, because I want that to match, I will do that in black. So I'll get my black marker, and I don't have my skinny one, so the beginning of my butterfly. And because I have that right over here, I could possibly add one more if I wanted. So we'll see. What I mostly want to do is divide up this area for the sky. Now some of this, like these are different areas that I can naturally do, different blues. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to pencil in a couple of ways to divide up some of this open space. Those pencil lines, I'm not going to outline them in black or anything. I'm just dividing up, and I'm going to use my butterfly to kind of break that up. This is already a natural spot in between. Okay, once you've kind of divided up your background sky enough so you'll have different spots for blue, we want to go ahead and get started. What I like to start with is kind of some of the main dividing spaces. So usually I start with the tree, and then I do some of the different greens. I might put in the table if I'm going to make it brown when I have my browns out. So we'll just kind of see how that goes. But the key is that you want to be coloring in your trees and greens in more than just one color. So you can see that I have these green plants, but there are a bunch of different greens. My brown, bunch of different browns. It's not all the same. So wherever there is an area that is divided by black, then I separate those. And I will probably do a couple of different spaces. Like that's a really nice warm brown. So I'm going to go up here. I'm going to try using the other end of my marker. Oh, it is actually a different brown. Okay, so I'm gonna, it's a bigger tip. Then we'll do another one here. Now I just want to say, maybe you don't have very many markers at your house. And I just want to encourage you, if you don't have very many markers, to say to your mom and your dad, to say to them this week, say, you know what, Mom, I really think I might need some more color options for this drawing to make it as good as I possibly can. Is there any way we can go over to Meyer, or you can get really fancy and go to Michael's or Hobby Lobby and pick up some new markers? There are Crayola markers that come very thin, but they have a lot more colors. If you don't already have those, I would encourage you to see if your mom or dad is willing to get you invest in some new markers, because markers, you use them up and then they go bad, and that's okay. The whole point of having them is that you color in all sorts of beautiful things, therefore making beautiful drawings. So I would encourage you to, if you don't already, feel like you have a nice variety of markers, to consider maybe investing in some. And you can see I've been doing the branches, and each one I just choose one of the browns and we're just filling those in. Some of my my skinny branches, they are pretty dark from the marker that I use to outline. So there you can see what the brown looks like once I have it in. I also thought I'm going to do my table as a wooden table. So I have all of the browns except for my deer. I will be adding some brown too in a little bit. I think the next thing that I want to do is to do some of my leaves. You can see here that I have a bunch of different greens, and I'm going to do the same thing I did with the browns. I'm going to pull the greens out that I have, and I'm going to use those. I think I really like that I have a very light green and it pops nicely, so I'm going to try for a lighter green in these really big leaves. So each of the plants I'm going to do slightly different. Ooh, that's like a neon yellow. That might be the wrong color. So they'll all look good together, but so we have the green in. Since I have my greens out, I'm going to go ahead and work on all my iris leaves. And you want to just take your time. Again, you want to select maybe 2 or 3. I also am going to do the stems of my irises. This is why it's good to use the Sharpie permanent markers for the outline, because if we got those wet with these markers, then some of that black would smear. You can see how all of this starts to really pop very nicely. And again, you can see I'm going to work on my other tall standing leaves over here. I'm going to do those in 2 tones, because they have kind of an outside and an inside. So I'm going to do the outside in 1 green, and I'll do the interior with another green. So you can kind of see how this is going to go. We're just going to take your time to relax. Maybe you want to put on some good music and work on it for 10 or 15 minutes one day and then come back and work on it again later. So I'm going to continue coloring. I want to note that as I'm coloring in these different shaped green leaves here, I want to make certain that I do something to differentiate them from the ones that are up against the irises. So I want to use some of the colors that will make them stand out so they don't all just blend in to each other. You also could put lines in one direction to try and create a pattern that would help separate them from the other leaves. last part that I am looking at doing before I do my sky is my deer, and then the greens on the pine. I think the greens on the pine actually, I will possibly save those until I do the blue backgrounds. For the blues, I'm going to get out all of the blues, even kind of my aqua blues. I'm going to start by filling in the spaces that I see. So here you can see there's a little gap. So I'm doing that for the sky. I am then going to move to another section, which I created here. I marked it with pencil lines because this space was so big. But that's going to determine the blue sky that I have in this section. And here's another one. I'm going to choose another green now, green blue. And like I said, I am thinking of the different shapes I have in my drawing as dividing up my blue skies. And I would like to use a couple different colors because it just makes the drawing more interesting. And you will just follow what you've already drawn in. I like to go around the border and then to fill it in. The thing I like about doing the sky is it just makes everything look really nice and stand out. And as you do this, take your time, turn on some nice music. It's better to take a break and come back to this later than to rush it. Because once you start coloring it in, there's not a lot else you can do to stop that. So if you don't like what you've done, you can't get rid of it. So you just want to take your time. And I'm a little afraid this dark blue will be too dark. It's pretty dark. So I don't know that I want to put it in this spot, but we'll try it out. I did notice there were a couple of brown spots that I forgot to do. Just adding a little kind of brownish colors to make it look like the deer is in the background. You can see that we have a almost finished drawing like the one that we have here. I just need to put in my pine branches. But I think this finishing touch just really makes the drawing pop and look nice. Like that. It needed that. The last thing that I want to do, I have a couple spots right here in my lights that needed to be finished off in black. So there we have it. We have our backyard drawing inspired by our panorama. I think that I could put more detail in my quilt if I wanted, like I did here. But mostly I'm feeling pretty good about my hanging lanterns and just my fun leaves and the cute little animals and things that help me think about what it would look like in my backyard. The last part that you want to do is mark your name in the corner. You always can put your year on there, what year it is, so 2021 would be good as well. If you have questions, notify me on Seesaw. I really want you to take your time, so don't rush, okay? So work on this for a little bit and then come back. It does not have to be finished all at once. Play some fun music, listen to a story, and just have fun while you're doing it. Post your final picture on Seesaw. I can't wait to see them. Have a great week.